Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and today I'm going to do, ooh, my hair is hanging in my face, a video on pattern reading.
No.
I know I haven't posted very many videos, I think one this week, and unfortunately it's because I've been very, very busy. One, I'm knitting like crazy trying to finish the giveaway shawl. Two, somebody asked me to make them that big Adirondack shawl, so I got to get started on that. And then three, I started a new job. And as a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, I'm like very excited and just throwing myself into it. I'll be teaching preschool. And in the summer, it's a daycare for school-age kids. And so, you know, I've got activities to plan for that. But needless to say, I'm going to still try to put out 2 to 3 videos a week. This video was brought to you by a lovely viewer who had asked for information on how to read patterns. And to be honest, this information I've also really need to freshen up on, because the Adirondack shawl, as I mentioned in a previous video, the pattern is a little difficult to read. So the first thing I recommend doing is going online and finding yourself an abbreviation sheet. Print up one of these or save it as a document to your tablet or whatnot, and also pay attention to whether it's an American or the British ones, because remember, Americans have DC, meaning double crochet, and I believe the British have a different scale, different words they use. Double crochet is not the same as our double crochet. So find one of these, print it off. Then I suggest you can buy these little pattern books at Hobby Lobby or Walmart. They're no more usually than $5. Sometimes you can get them on clearance for a couple. Just a second here. Hey buddy, can you keep it down a little bit?
Yeah.
Thanks. And I suggest starting with dishcloths. Dishcloths are useful. You can use them in the kitchen. You can use them as washcloths in the shower, dusting, and then you feel like you're actually making something, not just crocheting nothing. And then start with something nice and easy. They always have pictures on the back. And look and find one that's actually labeled easy. And then what you got to do is use your abbreviation sheet that you printed off and start, you know, unlocking it. So for instance, right here it says chain 1 turn SC and the next ST, comma, DC and the next ST. So what I would do is I'd get my abbreviation. CH is chain, so I would write down on a separate sheet of paper chain 1. And each comma would be a new line. Turn. That means turn your work, because once you've made a chain, you gotta turn it to go into your stitch. Then it says SC and the next ST. So I'd look up SC on my abbreviation sheet, and that is single crochet. And then I'd look up ST, and that is stitch. And I'd write single crochet in the next stitch. Next part, new line, DC and the next ST. So I'd look it up. Double crochet in the next stitch. Literally, that's how I did it. Now I'm going to tell you, as a teacher, that's a good way to go, because now you're reading it and writing it. And anytime you read and write something, you remember it better. I don't know how many of you remember your moms and your teachers having you write out your spelling words 3 times each. Thanks, Flynn. So that's my first tip. Get yourself an abbreviation sheet, find yourself a nice, easy pattern book. You can preview these in the store and literally write it out bit by bit. The nice thing about these dishcloths is they're all repetitive. So once you've got, you know, the first round or first line done, it's just going to be a continuation. So my next tip would be to also search in Ravelry. Now when I first started, I would type into Google free baby hat crochet pattern, because I had no idea Ravelry existed, and then I'd have to go link by link trying to actually find a free pattern, and that didn't always work. If you go to Ravelry, sign up for an account with a username and a password, you literally will have thousands of free patterns. Some of them are paid, right there at your fingertips. And then they have a search menu on the side where you would choose crochet versus knit, free patterns, and then you can type in what you want. Baby hat, shawl, Afghan, mittens. And the reason I suggest that is because you will have so many to choose from. the big thing, the first thing I remember searching were mittens. And I looked through like 20 patterns before I found a mitten pattern that I understood. Personally, I feel the patterns that are written by knitters and crocheters and posted on Ravelry tend to be easier for me to read than patterns that are printed in these books. Here, just one second, I'm going to pause. So I suggest going to Ravelry, looking at a pattern, printing them up, and even then you can still pull out your trusty abbreviation sheet and rewrite some of those so that you understand them better. Also, you can then, after you find, let's say, this one for example, I've talked about this in other videos. Little Monkey Crochet has a blog, and she has the never-ending wildflower. So you go to her blog, you find the pattern, you print it off, and then go to YouTube and type it into the YouTube search. And a lot of times you will find that other knitters or crocheters have made a video explaining how to do this pattern. In fact, I made an attempt at making a tutorial on how to make this flower. That way you can read along while you're listening and watching. The more senses you use, the better and easier you'll remember. So reading, seeing, and hearing, and you'll be able to better understand, for an example, how it's going. Because I understand someone who's new might not understand what FLO, and that's front loop only. So that's my second tip, is try to find a video tutorial to go with the pattern that you've chosen. They have, I mean, there's a lot of them. And a lot of times they will, if they're super good at editing, which I am not, they will put the directions sometimes in the bottom of the video so you can see it. So I'll put a link in the description to Ravelry. I'll also put a link in the description to the abbreviation sheet that I found. The final thing that I was going to say, my son's interrupted me, so I forgot. Printing off, I guess that's all I was going to say about reading patterns. Just to recap, you can print off the abbreviations, rewrite from these easy books. You can go on Ravelry and find an abundance of free or paid patterns that you can preview, rewrite them using this or finding tutorials. The other thing that I was going to do, that my plan is, I would like to do kind of a YouTube live crochet along. I tried to do that with a never-ending flower. However, the video got so long that my camera split it into 2 videos, and then I did not know how to merge them together. Hence, there's a part 1 and a part 2. I don't know how to edit, so I just had to wing it there. But I know that if you do the YouTube lives, YouTube records it for you and puts it on there. So, in the next week or 2, my plan is, I'll promote this one more time, to choose a pattern off of Ravelry and have you all go to Ravelry and print it up, or if you're technology smart, have it on your phone or your iPad or your computer, and then we'll crochet it together at the same time. It'll be a live video where I'll sit and I'll read the pattern and we'll crochet it, and of course it has to be a free pattern. And that way we can learn a pattern together. I am thinking of doing a baby sweater because the bulk of the sweater can be done on your own. It's just getting the yoke and the sleeves until you get to the repeat. So that is what I have. You can get a lot of these really nice, cheap, easy books at Hobby Lobby or Walmart, maybe even Joann's or Michael's. Print free patterns off of crochet blogs or Ravelry, and then get yourself an abbreviation sheet. I think that really is, you know, the way to go in order to teach yourself how to read patterns. Now there always are going to be patterns that are difficult to understand. It's just the way they are. Like the Adirondack shawl pattern. I would say I'm an intermediate at pattern reading, and that one is very confusing for me. But I really, really want to make it. So I'm going to really dedicate myself to making that. Plus I have somebody who wants me to make it for them. So other than that, that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching and subscribing. I would say I'm 2/3 of the way with it done with the giveaway shawl. And then I'll have a video to give that away. and I'll have a video coming up for advertising my YouTube live crochet along. And then, hey, please put in the comments anything that you want to know. I'll try to make a video about it, just like this last gal who said she wanted some tips on reading patterns. Other than that, thanks for watching and subscribing. Happy crafting!